There we go. Welcome to council this evening, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and get started. And start with Suzanne with our roll call.
Thank you. Mayor LaBarre?
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Case?
Here.
Councilmember Connors?
Here.
Councilmember Nakai?
Here.
Councilmember Neal?
Here.
Councilmember Ott?
Here.
Councilmember Zuluaga?
Here.
Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
America.
Okay, and this evening we're starting off with ceremonies, presentations, and appointments. And we have 3A, which is approval of appointments to the Historical Preservation Committee and also the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. And we will start with the Preservation Committee.
Thanks, Mayor. This evening we have Eric, I hope I say it correct, Simonson? Eric Simonson with us this evening, who has applied to be on the Historical Preservation Committee. He's here in the audience for council to interview and speak with.
Eric, if you wouldn't mind just coming up to the podium for us and just let us know a little bit about yourself and why you're interested, and then we'll see if council has any questions or comments for you.
Okay, I'm Eric Simonson, and I was born and raised in Colorado Springs, and after I graduated in 1980, I got out of there and moved all around Black Forest, Tri-Lakes area, Palmer Lake, Colorado. I've been Teller County in '96, but I've lived here and played here my whole life, and I'm very interested in history and preserving it. Some reason the older I get, the more interested I am trying to do something about it. Surveying has a lot of history, and I just love it. I love the historical part of it and try to preserve the monuments and such. So I'd like to help do that if I can.
Very good. Council, any question? I see Rusty has a question. He's on it.
I would like to speak on his behalf.
Sure.
As the outgoing liaison to the Historical Preservation Committee. I had the privilege of sitting through several meetings in which Eric has been an active participant for many, many months. Even though he's not been on the board, he has come to almost every meeting since I've been appointed. So I just speak very highly, very engaged in the meetings, and I think he would serve very well.
Good to know. Thanks. Council, anything further?
Question.
Sure.
Hi, Eric. So there's one of the questions on here says, what 3 issues? Are there any issues that you see in historical preservation that have piqued your interest and that you'd like to see us put more focus on?
Well, I went to the first meeting I went to was very interesting because it had the Cristola Bridge, which I found so interesting, in the highway that went from coast to coast and through there. I didn't really know that, but I'd be interested in helping however I could, scanning or whatever, right of way or whatever. I also forgot to say I'm currently the county surveyor, and I don't think that matters, but I wanted to bring that up. Robert, sorry for sidetracking there, but yeah, I'm very interested in the bridge. For one.
Do you know Steve Plute?
He was there at the first meeting, and that's the one he presented that, and
yes,
like an hour on it. I was very intrigued by it, very much so. And drove right down there and saw where some more of the balusters had fallen off, and just, I don't know, I'd like to be a part of trying to save that or
he actually took me down there and shared some of the history that he knows about it and showed me a lot of things about it, which was even more interesting. He's a wealth of information. He would probably give you some insight that would enlighten you and make you even more excited about it. So
I noticed that when he was talking about it, and last time he was talking about all the building around here, and I'm very interested in somebody that knows the history.
He knows a lot about everything around here, so he's worth knowing for sure. Thank you for applying.
Anything further?
Nina, is Is there any problem with him being an elected assessor for the county and serving on a
Surveyor,
board?
not assessor.
I don't think what kind of position that is because it's the conflicting. I don't believe so. He's not on an elected or appointed board.
May I say something? I just wanted to say that I was, and that I'm going to running for another 4-year term. And, you know, when I go in front of commissioners or whatever, I say I'm in the capacity of Rampart Surveys. I just wanted everybody to know, so nobody's surprised later and say, "Why didn't you tell me you were?" It doesn't really have anything to do with it. I just want to bring it up.
Suzanne.
I failed to mention to council in the introduction that there's currently one opening. So there's one vacant term. This term expires January 1st, 2024, and it's for an applicant that either resides in the city limits or outside the city limits. So Eric is fine for this position.
Very good.
So then can I make a motion to appoint Eric Simonson to the Historical Preservation Committee?
And I'll second it.
Council, you may vote, please. Thank you, council. Motion passes unanimously. If I may I administer the oath of office to Eric?
Absolutely. Sure.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks for applying.
Thank you very much. Simonson,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the state of Colorado,
the state of Colorado,
charter and ordinances of the city of Woodland Park,
of the city of New York,
and that I will faithfully perform the duties
and the duties
of the office of Historical Preservation Committee
of the office of Historical Preservation Office. About to enter. Thank you so much.
Thank you, council. And up next, we have the appointment to Parks and Recs Advisory Board.
Correct. This application was received from Susan Janicki, who is one of the incumbents on the Parks and Recreation Board. She was unable to be here at the last council meeting, and so council asked me to bring it to this meeting. She is here with us in the audience this evening for any questions council may have.
Sure, and if you wouldn't mind just coming up to the podium and just letting council know a little bit about yourself and why you're interested in your reappointment.
My name is Susan Janicki. I've lived in Woodland Park for about 10 years now. I've enjoyed the time I've been spending with Parks and Rec. I've learned a lot, and the people are fantastic, and I'd like to continue working with them and learning more.
Very good. Council, any questions or comments?
Can you give us a progress report on the dog park?
Well, every time I'm there, it's spotless. Those people are wonderful. I've stopped and talked to them, and they tell me, well, if I see something, maybe my dog could do it and I'd miss it, so they pick it up. They're really great people that use that park.
You actually were part of the organizing of it coming to pass in the first place, weren't you?
Yes.
Very good. Thank you.
Council, anything further? That was a good comment. Usually I'm always anticipating like a negative comment about something from someone, and those were all really good comments. So thank you.
Mayor, I'd
get a
like to make a
motion?
motion to reappoint Susan Janicki to the Parks and Rec Advisory Board.
I'll second.
Council, you may vote.
And thank you for coming in. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you, council. Motion is passed unanimously. And may I administer the oath of office to Ms. Janicki?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
I, Susan Janicki. I, Susan Janicki. Do solemnly swear. That I will support the Constitution of the United States. And of the state of Colorado.
Actually, the chip seal is different. It is slightly different from Kelly and the Baldwin. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this one's chip sealing all over the city.
Upon which I'm about to enter. Congratulations. Thank you. And let's have you sign this. Right there.
Congratulations, Susan.
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations. So you'll send this out.
All right, item number 4, additions, deletions, or corrections. We have none. Item number 5, consent calendar. 5A is approval of the 2022 chip seal contract. And I believe Kip was the presenter last time.
So Mayor,
But-
we can do it all in one
Consent.
motion unless
Okay.
there's particular questions. We can do the contract for the chip seal and we can do the minutes for the May 5th meeting if you'd like in one motion.
Council, is there any questions or comments with 5A? I see Rusty looking, so I'm giving him a second. Good? Okay, do you guys want to go ahead and do 5A and B together then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm good with it.
I assume there was no questions for B. If there is, just let me know. Okay. Okay, then.
I will make a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented.
I'll second.
Council, you may vote. Thank you, council. Motion has passed unanimously.
Guys, we're on a roll.
Don't you?
I know.
Hey, Kip, I have a question for you really quick on this. So when we approve these road improvements, what is the priority? How do we choose what the priority is for that, for what gets repaired and when?
Based on the pavement management plan. So we're catching up. So it's doing all of the crack seal and chip seal for 20, 21, and 22.
Okay, so but if something else gets really bad in the meantime, does that not get considered or do we stick just with the plan?
So we stick with the plan. If something's really bad, then we bring it back to council for their consideration.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we're on to item number 6, public comments on items not on the agenda. And I don't know if we have anyone signed up for the audience.
So no one has signed up in the back and no one has signed up on Zoom.
Okay, moving on from item number 6 to 7. We don't have any unfinished business. So on number 8, it's ordinances on initial posting. And it's 8A, approve ordinance number 1422. And remember, this is just initial posting to set it to public hearing so that we can then discuss it with all parties present. And our presenter this evening is Karen for that.
Good evening. Yes, this evening I bring to you and ask your request to approve ordinance number 1422, series 2022 on initial posting. This is a request by Skip Howes, the applicant, and the Tamarack Land Company, the property owner, for a conditional use permit pursuant to section 18.09.090.G.1, contractors and construction services use on a 4.22 acre parcel in a portion of the west half of the southwest quarter of section 12, township 12 south, range 69 west of the 6th principal meridian, lying southwest of Tamarack Tech Park filing number 2 and lying northwest of Tamarack Tech Park filing number 1. It has an address of 1010 Research Drive. It's in the service commercial zone. And I'm asking you to please set the public hearing for June 2nd, 2022. This will be a quasi judicial item.
Very good. Council, are there questions or comments?
No.
Excellent. Okay, can I get a motion then? Set this for public hearing.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 1422, series 2022 on initial posting. A request by Skip Howells, the applicant, and the Tamarack Land Company, the property owner, for a conditional use permit pursuant to paragraph 18.09.090.g.1, contractors and construction services use on 4.22 acres in a portion of the west 1/2 of the southwest 1/4 of section 12, township 12 south, range 69 west of the 6th principal meridian, lying southwest of Tamarack Tech Park, filing number 2, and lying northwest of Tamarack Tech, filing number 1, with an address noted, and set the public hearing for June 2nd, 2022.
Second.
I forgot he has written.
I know.
You don't have to read the whole thing again.
Council may vote. Thank you, council. Motion is passed unanimously.
Okay, now we are on to item 9, public hearings, 9A, and it is approval of a transfer of a hotel and restaurant liquor license for Red Diamond Gastro Truck. And our presenter is Suzanne.
Thank you, Mayor LaBarre. I'm pretty proud of myself because when I was meeting with James, who you will meet in a moment, he said, "What time do you think they'll hear me on the agenda?" And I said 7:20.
Nice.
Good job. She
Yeah.
knows us well.
It's unheard of to be early.
I'd like to introduce this to you this evening. This is for a public hearing, and this is for a transfer of a liquor license from James Steinling from Red Diamond Gastro Truck, doing business as Red Diamond Gastro Pub, located at 121 West Midland Avenue, which all of you know as Rhapsody. So Rhapsody will now become Red Diamond Gastro Pub.
Very good.
So James currently, this is James Steinling, who you will meet in a moment, and he currently has a sales tax license and FEI number. The applicant will hold a temporary liquor license for this location once the application is approved this evening. The location is eligible to be licensed. Possession of the property is documented in a lease that expires on 4/1/2024. The application was submitted to the clerk's office April 14th of 2022. The property was posted on May 2nd, 2022. The public notice was published on May 2nd, 2022 on the city's website, and the character of the applicant is not an issue for this hearing. So it's my pleasure to introduce to you James Steinling, who will be the new owner of that facility, and he would like to tell you a little bit about his plans and what he'll be doing there.
Hi. So I actually am from here. I grew up here. I got my first job cooking at the Donut Mill when I was 13 with my best friend's parents. I don't know if you remember, Tweeds was actually a restaurant once, and I cooked there. So basically, I've been cooking ever since I was 13. I went to culinary school when I was 17. I've been a professional chef for the last 22, well, since 2001 when I graduated. Everything from personal chef for the Denver Broncos, executive chef at Weston's. I opened up the new Four Seasons in downtown Seattle. My goal with the restaurant is what I always wanted to do is come back and bring something different. Because if you ask me, the food's still kind of similar from when I grew up here. Same kind of concept, same kind of stuff. So, you know, I want to do like Tuesday nights are going to be like $6 burger and fry nights for everyone. I call my food elevated comfort food with a twist. Really long story short, I'm just hoping to bring what I've learned over the last 20 years to my town that I grew up in and offer something that I feel is different. I don't know if you've had my truck, but I change the menu every week, and it's food that I've never seen up in this town, and that's kind of been really successful for me as a food truck. And I have this opportunity to expand, and I'm hoping you guys will allow that.
That's great. Council, do you have any questions or comments?
What did you say you're doing on Tuesday nights?
I want to do like $6 burger and fry nights. You know, so the whole town can, you can bring your kids and everyone, just cheap, you know, I do, all my burgers are fresh, nothing's frozen, you know, just the same quality that I'd offer at full price, but I feel, I mean, it's kind of the times, right? You know, give the town an option for a cheap quality meal. That's my goal. It's something like that. You know.
Tuesday is a good selection since almost everything is closed.
Right.
on Tuesdays.
That's the idea. You know, Friday night fish fry. You know, like I said, just elevated comfort food, I think, is a complete different twist that you don't see in this town. It's been successful for me. So I would like to continue that.
His food's amazing.
I think the Friday fish fry would work out very well, actually.
Yeah.
Right?
Anything further, council?
No, thank you.
Okay.
Excellent to have businesses.
Yeah, we're glad you're here, and I know I've had your food, and I'm glad that you're going to be continuing.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, I've changed my menu every week for 2 years. If you think about it, I've been trying out food items, right?
Yeah.
So now I have the opportunity to make a set menu that I can, you know, all the highlights from that menu, and then I could still do all the fun stuff on top of that.
Very cool.
Very good.
Thank you.
Awesome.
As long as the crab melt stays.
That's actually the number one requested thing.
That was my favorite over there was the crab melt.
Yeah.
That was mine.
Cool.
Oh, wow.
And Fish Friday.
Yep. That's awesome.
All right, well, council, can I get a motion then?
Whoever does this motion is cheating.
Oh, yeah.
This one is so short.
We've had a public hearing. Yep.
You're on a roll.
Right. There's no one in the audience. Is there anyone on Zoom with their hands up?
No, ma'am. No public comments.
No public comment. Okay, yeah.
Okay, I'll make the motion to approve resolution number 891, series 2022, declaring, oh, I'm sorry, wrong one. My apologies, sir. It's a new business.
Just read it off here.
Yeah, approve the transfer of hotel and restaurant liquor license for Red Diamond Gastro Truck, doing business as Red Diamond Gastro Pub, located at 121 West Midland.
I'll second.
Okay, council, you may vote.
No crab melt for you.
Coconut shrimp too.
Oh, yeah.
When will samplers be available?
I'll invite you June. I take over June 1st.
June 1st?
I do.
Okay.
So I hope to be open by June 10th.
Okay.
Thank you,
Congratulations.
council. Motion is passed unanimously.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations, team.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's
Look
it.
forward
You're
to
good
it.
go.
All right, on to item number 10, new business. We've got 10A, which is approval of resolution 891. And Michael is our presenter for that.
Good evening, council. As you will recall, on Saturday evening, we all had a lovely time discussing emergency resolution related to the Hyde Park fire so that we could receive reimbursement for any expenses the city incurred in supporting that fire response. And under the advisement of our city attorneys, we wanted to extend that I believe per statute, it recommends that we handle it this way. We wanted to extend that resolution for 30 days, I believe through June 18th is what we said. And just to get us through the entirety of that fire so we can make sure that we don't have to come back and do this again and that all our expenses are covered and just put a nice bow on it.
This is just for extra transparency to the community because our code doesn't specify, you know, how often you should do these kind of things. So this way it's 30 days, unless you extend it or terminate it. Your previous resolution didn't have a time frame. So it's always best practice to do it this way, but it's not required, just better for transparency too, which I know is important to y'all.
Thank you. Council questions?
Is this actually an amendment to what we approved?
It's an extension.
So
it's an extension.
Yes.
So it's, yeah.
Well, is it actually an extension or is it just putting a time frame on it?
Continuing, so just making it clear that the emergency is still continued and it's going until June 18th unless you terminate it or extend it before then.
Well, I guess my question would be first to Chief Deisler. You sent out a report this afternoon that said we're 87% contained and everyone's back at the back in their homes. So do you see that there's a extended time period here that we need to be concerned about?
Personally, I don't.
Okay.
This is I don't at this time, sir. I know that our involvement is, so we've scaled back our involvement right now. I'm hoping that after this weekend, we don't have to worry about it for a while, but for right now, I don't think we're having anything to worry about.
So does the current order terminate? When does it actually terminate?
It doesn't say. That's why this is more clear.
And so it's only because it doesn't have a date on it. Okay.
Right.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, so this will put an end date on it.
Okay.
Unless we would need to extend it.
Right. And then I just have another question here on this. So if the county ends their emergency state and we have a 30-day, so we've extended past when they end it, because we get, snow this weekend and it's out. Will we have to have another resolution to go ahead and stop that emergency early?
I'm under the impression that the county also extended theirs to the same time period that we're extending
Okay,
ours.
Great. Yeah, that answers the question then.
I
Thank
think
you.
the same is true of Cripple Creek.
Yes.
Yep.
We talked about this. And they all put the same end date.
Yeah, okay.
Any other questions?
Well, just while you're here, Chief, thank you for your work and keeping us apprised of the fire, and also all the great volunteer work that we've seen across the county. It's just fabulous.
Certainly happy to do it. That's why we're here. Appreciate it.
Very good. Council, can I get a motion?
So moved.
Did you make the motion?
I'm making the motion. So
would be
moved.
good.
So moved to approve the resolution 891 series 2022, declaring the local disaster as per stated on the resolution.
I'll second.
Yeah. Didn't want to go into your long thing, Rusty.
They both counsel.
Thank you, council. Motion's passed unanimously.
Very good. All right, we're off to item number 11 already. Reports. I just have a couple of dates, and then I have two topics to pass off to two other council members. So tomorrow, Friday, May 20th, 2022, we have the spring downtown cleanup. We also have the Woodland Park Aquatic Center Parents Night Out from 6 to 9 p.m. And then next Friday, May 27th, we have the Aquatic Center Dive-In movie from 6 to 9. And Friday, June 3rd, we have the Woodland Parks Farmers Market from 8 to 1 at Memorial Park. And then my other two topics were, one, I know I'm not going to talk about them. I'm going to let Councilmember Connors talk about. He discussed with me the potential of donating, I think it was $1,000 from council's budget to the police for their volunteering with the fire for either food, water, or supplies that they would need. I know the fire is wrapping up, but they could also keep it and then use it for a future fire, because I have a feeling there'll probably be some potential future fires this summer with how dry it's going to be. So Frank, I'm going to pass that off to you to talk about further. And then the other issue was, I'd heard that you and Robert might switch your Keep Woodland Park Beautiful position. So I'm going to let you two talk about that. So, and that's all I have. So Councilmember Case.
Thank you. Just wanted to give you a little bit of information from the Parks and Rec Advisory Board meeting that we had last week on Wednesday evening. Again, numbers are very impressive. They are knocking it out of the park with their performance and engaging people in the recreational activities at the Aquatic Center. One of the things also I wanted to share is that the UPass Cultural Center, they have already have June, July, and August weekends booked full with weddings and other events. So kudos to the management team at Brady and his team at the Aquatic Center, and also to Nicole at the Cultural Center, and Cindy and her whole crew. They're doing great work. And just to share, January through April recovery rate at the Woodland Aquatic Center is at 58.8%, which is outstanding. Just wanted to share that with you all. I received an email today from Cindy Keating that the committee or the subcommittee from that board has reviewed the 2 contracts that or proposals that they received for the Parks, Trails, and Open Space Master Plan update. I forget what the folks' name, but they did select one of them, which happens to be Logan Simpson that we worked with on the comp plan.
The other one was Valerium?
Yes, that's it. Thank you, Suzanne. And both were very good proposals, and they worked through them diligently and did decide upon Logan Simpson. And so that will be coming forward to the council for approval of that contract, the first meeting in June. So that's moving forward nicely, and the board's looking forward to that project. That's all I have. Thank you.
Councilmember Connors.
Thank you, Mayor. First off, I wanted to talk to Robert and make sure that we were on the same agreement that you were going to take my position at the Keep Woodland Park Beautiful.
Yeah, I just learned something though. In the meantime, they actually asked me if I would consider being on that board. But I understand, Michael, that there is no requirement for a liaison to Keep Woodland Park Beautiful according to their charter. They were looking into it, said that it's actually under your purview and not under council's purview. So can you cast some light on that for us?
I would have to look into that. I'm not familiar with how their bylaws and appointments. Yes, I do.
So if I may, not every single committee has it in their bylaws that there be a council liaison, but we have always historically had council liaisons for each of the committees so they could report, like this evening, how Councilmember Case just did on the happenings of what's going on and be in the mix of everything.
Okay.
I if you would like to continue with the tradition,
Sure, that would be okay. All right, fine, good. Thank you for clarifying that. Yep.
Thank you for asking. Now we know.
So officially for the record, because the last council meeting I took notes and we set it in the record for each committee. Do I have it that Councilmember Zuluaga will now be the Keep Woodland Park Beautiful liaison?
It's good with me.
Yes.
Is that what you want to do?
Okay.
So done.
Thank you.
All right. The next thing the mayor asked me to talk about was I just wanted to see about, and we can talk about this tomorrow when we're together, about putting together some of our, little bit of our budget to the fire department and the police department for incidentals, specifically to our police department for their quartermaster to use as they can see fit for the incidentals that they've used for this fire. We can certainly talk about that later. A couple other things real quick. Saturday, May 28th, we have a flag ceremony at our cemetery here in Woodland Park. That'll be put on by the veterans. Then on the 30th, that starts at 10 o'clock in the morning.
And
it's
where?
placing flags at our cemetery.
Okay.
Here in Woodland Park, behind McDonald's. What's that little bitty road?
Short. It's called Short Street.
I could make a lot of jokes.
Don't.
Short life.
It really is short though. It's
yes.
Less than a block.
And then on the 30th, which is Memorial Day, they'll be doing a flag ceremony, posting of the flags by the VFW at Lions Park at 7 o'clock in the morning.
So Mayor, if I may,
sure.
You know me, I have to get everything on the record.
Right.
If we talk about it tomorrow, it's not on the record.
Right.
If we want to transfer money from the council's budget to the police department, it's something that we have to do in our public meeting. So we can either do it tonight or you can talk about it tomorrow and then bring it back June 2nd.
I think that's what we'll do. Is that okay, Mayor?
Bring it back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine with me.
That's what we'll do.
Okay.
And that's all I had. Thank you.
Very good. Councilmember Nakai.
I have nothing.
I have nothing to report.
Okay.
I have
Councilmember
nothing to report.
All right. Councilmember Zuluaga.
Well, Frank, I just want to make a comment on the fires. We actually created a fund for the fire education that the community and ourselves can donate to for the fire and for fire education, et cetera. And I'd propose that instead of looking to be taken out of the public purse to do that, we look to encouraging the community to pitch in for fires. Because I agree, I think that we're going to see more of them this year, but I think it'd be more in keeping with the community spirit to build that amongst the community. We have the fund, the place already set up. They can donate onto the website. And I'd like to see us get for the public to weigh in on and say, yeah. So I put that as a contrary.
Yeah, and I think we're going to have that discussion on June 2nd. So
yeah,
it's something we can just, discuss here and then bring that up June 2nd and you can
exactly
those out.
Yeah.
Can I clarify something with you, Frank? I understood that you were asking for the council to provide some backfill to the police department budget for operating expenditures that they incurred as it related over and above normal operating expenditures in response to the fire. Thank you. Thank you.
Much better said than what I said and then handed it off. So.
Much better than the way I said it.
Okay.
So there is one other item which Rusty and I have talked about that we want to see brought to council's agenda with regards to DDA. It's a cooling off period right now, but the investors who are looking to commit to developing the DDA property on have said their concern is that council has the authority to take that property back on December 31st, 2023, if no project development is complete. So should they decide to go ahead, we wanted to put it on the radar that it would be in that consideration of council holding that sword over the development of that property would hinder any sort of further contract with an investor. So we want to have that put on the council's agenda. But before we do, I want to also sound a concern that I expressed to the city attorney and to the city manager and to Rusty. I commend Arden Weatherford. He's a great businessman. Since he has been appointed to the DDA, he has since purchased 3 more pieces of property around that development of Woodland Station. So he now owns 5 pieces of property around Woodland Station. And that has happened since he has been appointed as a DDA member. That deeply concerns me. And so I would like us to look into whether it's even appropriate for his tenure on the DDA to continue, given the fact he's such an intimate player in potential development of Woodland Station. So that's for discussion, but I wanted to put it on the radar as well. As far as I understand, members of the DDA are supposed to disclose any type of conflicting interests. And I think 5 pieces of property adjoining Woodland Station rises to that level.
So I guess as a part of that conversation, I would like to get a consensus that we can task our city attorney to go back and do some research. What are the laws surrounding this? Because I've read the DDA statutes and conflict of interest paragraphs. I haven't seen a violation to it, but there is a requirement to disclose interests, but I don't know what the frequency is, whether it's a once a year disclosure or is there a time limit after somebody acquires something that they should have come forward. Because as Robert's saying, it does look bad that he has not disclosed it publicly yet. But if he's not required to, but once a year, then he's still within that 1 year since his last disclosure. So I'd like to know what the law says about that.
One thing that I would suggest is, and this I think was part of the discussion at the last meeting, is that there's been no vote. And I would say that there are other members of the board that have adjacent properties that would have a very similar, if not exact, potential conflict when and if a project comes forward and it could present a conflict. And I believe the conversation was and agreed to that those parties would disclose that at that time and recuse themselves from any decisions that were made associated with a development.
You were correct. That is what
and
was
that makes
stated.
Perfect sense to me. But again, I'm not an attorney. And I would suggest that that would be something that the DDA's attorney should address. And not
I think it should be a
attorney.
combination. The DDA would have to render an opinion from the DDA's perspective, but I think the city attorney should be advising us whether we think there's grounds that we look at it. I agree with you, Kelly. I've looked at it. I believe that there are other property owners adjacent to it, and what's considered legally adjacent doesn't necessarily mean it touches. A street can be between it and it's still considered adjacent. But
Absolutely.
Robert has voiced a concern, and in trying to be very balanced in how I look at legal things, I agree that it should be looked at from the city's perspective. And then once we hear the legal opinion from our city attorney, then we could probably carry on a further discussion, Robert, out of fairness to your concern.
Well, that property, just so you're clear, that property was purchased after appointment on the DDA on December 29th of 2021. So that's coming into 5 months ago, and that has not been revealed to publicly, and that's a significant impact on, given the fact that DDA's major focus is on Woodland Station.
I just, for the benefit of institutional knowledge, if you will, when you're speaking of that contiguousness, there was a case while I was still on staff over here from Gray Horse Ranch and then across the street, across Highway 24, that it was determined that the property was owned by the same people. And just because the highway went between the two, it was ignored, if you will, on contiguity determination. And you could probably state it better than I did, but I do know that we've heard that before, and anyway, just to share. Thank you, Nina.
So yes, I'll look into the law, and also I'll ask staff for the disclosure form as well, and get back to you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and moving on to city attorney.
I don't have anything in addition. I'll see everyone at the retreat tomorrow. Looking forward to that.
City manager.
We have a March 2022 sales tax update for you all. Aaron will go through that.
All right, we have the first quarter for 2022. Oh, sorry. All right, so year to date through March, we are up 3.1% over last year, and we're up 5.2% March to March 2022 versus 2021 for sales tax. We have an increase of $51,000 year to date. And then for lodging tax, we're up 128% in March, and we're up 128% year to date and 107% for March. So we're seeing very large increases in lodging tax continue, and our projections for sales tax growth are pretty on track here.
Aaron, I did, okay, that's what I was wanting to see, is a 2018.
This one? Okay. So the purple line on the top there is 2022, and you can see it's trending up, very similar to the way that 21 trended over 20. We're continuing to see that growth line. It would be great if we could continue to see what we saw in 21, but it seems like it slowed down a little bit versus what we were seeing last year, 15 to 20% growth. Now we're seeing, 3 to 5% each month, year over year. You guys have any questions on this one? Okay, so this slide shows our estimates for 22 versus what we're actually seeing. Our estimates are the dark green line, and the 2022 actual numbers are a light green line. So we're trending a little bit below what we had projected. We were about 25,000 below estimate in January, 9,000 in February, and we were 2,000 up. I'm sorry, 2,000 down in March. So we're hoping to continue to see it catch up, but we have been a little bit off on what we had projected. And then here's lodging revenue. The dark green line is our 22 numbers. They're significantly up every month over 20 and 21. We're going to be going into our busier time of the year, so hopefully we'll see that continue. But right now we're up about 128% year to date, so we do expect to see it.
Aaron, do you have the same information, the run chart for lodging as you had for the sales, where it shows 2019?
Let's sure.
For lodging. There we go.
Looks like just 2020.
That'll give it to us.
You guys want to see the graph? This one?
Well, this chart will do it.
Oh, let's see. Oh, they're not summers. Sorry, guys. Hold on one second.
So 172.
Oh, there we go.
It's probably Rob.
It's Rob. Yes.
Oh no, we're wondering where the music's coming from.
I said somebody left the elevator door open.
Is this what you guys wanted to see? This is the chart for lodging revenue for the last 10 years. This little line right here is 2022 up here. And then 21 is the dotted. And then you can see all the other years we're pretty close together compared to what we're seeing now.
What do you attribute the difference to, Aaron?
Well, we had the hotel, we had the microtel open, and then we are seeing more short-term rentals and more rental properties.
Okay. What would you say the percentages of that, of short-term rental properties as opposed to the new hotel?
We've been working on that data, but we don't have it at this time.
Okay.
Do you have any way of adjusting this to show remove the microtel impact and then put it back in so we can see what the microtel has done? I mean, you see this gigantic leap.
Yeah, we can put that together.
Can we attribute that entire leap to the microtel, or I'd like to kind of know what it would have been doing without the microtel in there, if that's possible.
Yeah, we'll look into that.
Thank you.
So Aaron, did I understand you to say that there's a lodging tax for both short-term rental and for monthly rental?
It's mostly the short-term rental, but we haven't been able to dive into it deep enough to see what is what at this time.
Okay. Yeah.
So we know there's an increase in rentals, but we can't determine whether they're short-term or not at this time.
So if I may, Councilmember Neal, to your request calling out a specific business, I don't believe we can disclose that because someone with enough wherewithal could back into the receipts, which is confidential information.
Yeah, but I think with that in particular, I totally agree with that. But I'd just like to know what that increase is. We have to deal with this with the STR issue, and I think we need to have all the data on it that we can to see what that impact is on the community.
Well, we are working on it. Pulling out the STRs, that would be a different matter.
Correct.
I don't know how close we are to it, but
we've been working on that. We're getting close.
It seems like that's kind of at the heart of the information you're trying to get at, right? Is what part of that incremental growth is STRs rather than the microtel or
Right.
Okay.
Not one particular, but that grouping.
Yeah, there's a big difference between.
Right.
Hotels and motels versus STRs.
Yes.
Yeah.
That you can group them, but you can't give individual.
Correct.
Debbie can talk to us. Yep.
One of the things, and you can go back to when you started with your web program and you started scrubbing and bringing in short-term rental money, you can go back and see the significant increase. The other thing that the chamber does and has done and will continue, we start next week with this, from Memorial Day through Labor Day, we do what we call a whiteboard with all the lodging. And I can tell you in 2021, our lodging facilities, which are the hotels, I can't track all of the VRBOs, but none of those lodgings were sold out for any weekend last year. So when I see the numbers, I see VRBO money there, not necessarily through lodging. And you're picking more of that up at the workshop. You mentioned you had 110 that you had that you knew of. So the more you pick that up, you're going to see that. But the hotels, and I can tell you one of them has already shared his bookings are down this year for the summer. So again, you can look at short-term rentals. More people are looking at that. So that's anecdotal.
Thanks, Deb.
Anything further? Michael, back to you.
That was all I had for this evening.
Dad jokes. You know, I really like dad jokes. I like to tell dad jokes, sometimes even laughs.
You say that again? I didn't get that.
So as some of you know, my parents raised me as an only child, which really made my younger brother mad.
All right, this meeting is adjourned. Thanks a lot, you guys. Good job. That's a record.
Wow.
We can hit 8 o'clock.